All right, I'm going to show you all the college commencement speech that MAGA does not want you to see. In fact, they're incredibly mad that Scott Pelley, a host or correspondent of 60 Minutes, gave a speech at Wake Forest University where he directly explains how journalism is under attack, how the current administration is attacking law firms, universities, schools, the media, everything in order to consolidate power, and yet MAGA is mad that he exercised his First Amendment right to talk about this on stage. Before we talk about Scott Pelley and the MAGA reaction to this, have you guys seen this video of author David Joy confronting the North Carolina Jackson County commissioners with a history lesson? I promise you, this is worth a watch. Make sure you drop a like and just check this out.
I'm a 12th generation North Carolinian. My first ancestor coming to North Carolina in the late 1600s into what would become Bertie County. I say that with an immense amount of pride, but to admit that I'm a 12th generation anything in this country means that I'm most likely the direct descendant of enslavers. And in my case, I am. I'm the direct descendant of enslavers. And that's not an easy thing to say. But I grew up in a time where, that flag and that history was revered. And when I look back, I think it was the conflation of that flag with Southern identity. And it came to mean all of these other things. I grew up going to Leonard Skinner shows when they hit, Sweet Home Alabama, and a 100-foot by 50-foot Confederate flag dropped at the back of the stage, and everybody went nuts, and my daddy was one of them. And then I grew up, and I read books. And I think about someone like Alexander Stephens, and I'm assuming we all know who Alexander Stephens is, but if we don't, he was the vice president of the Confederacy. And when he was defining what that institution was, he said, its foundation rests, its cornerstone is laid upon the great truth that the Negro is not equal to the white man, that slavery and subordination to the superior race is his natural and born condition. That's what the man said. That's what he said it defined. So I don't care about any kind of revisionist history that wishes to place it as something else, because it's not that. And I think about the black communities in Jackson County. I think about people who have descendants here who go back hundreds of years. And what every one of you who voted for that is saying is that you revere a moment in time when their ancestors were in bondage. That's what that means. I view your actions as an act of white supremacy. That's what I view it as. I think it's shameful.
Incredibly well said. It really makes you proud to be an American at a time when things are grim. It makes you proud that intelligent human beings, like-minded human beings across the country can go and speak at, city hall meetings or at college campuses or anywhere and have their voice be heard by other like-minded people. And of course, the content of what he was saying was great as well. But the broader theme is that when the Trump administration is cracking down on the freedom of speech in the media, it comes down to people like this at an individual level, giving speeches and speaking out. That's why I appreciate you guys so much. Without you guys, I wouldn't be able to amplify my message, which I deem as the truth as opposed to whatever MAGA is pushing on any given day. Let's check out Scott Pelley decrying how journalism and freedom of speech are under attack. And the MAGA faithful immediately lashed out. First, we'll watch the clip, then we'll break down the MAGA reaction.
To move forward, we debate, not demonize. We discuss, not destroy. But in this moment, this morning, our sacred rule of law is under attack. Journalism is under attack. Universities are under attack. Freedom of speech is under attack. And insidious fear is reaching through our schools, our businesses, our homes, and into our private thoughts. The fear to speak in America. If our government is, in Lincoln's phrase, of the people, by the people, for the people, then why are we afraid to speak?
Very, very well said. And in a way, it goes perfectly back to this. I mean, they're not talking about the same specific thing, but it's broadly about the ability to voice your opinion at a time when the government is coming down. And that's what both Scott Pelley and author David Joy did. Now, regarding what Scott Pelley said, very, very powerful wording. The way he speaks, really, really powerful. But I really liked his wording as well. When he said, the insidiousness creeps through our schools and our universities and our businesses, into our homes and into our brains. That's very, very true. The way that people think is subtly changed over time by the Trump administration as they spread fear throughout the country. Here's the thing. When I use the word authoritarianism, a lot of Trump supporters mid-debate will be like, you don't know what authoritarianism is. That's guns being pointed in your face. It's not always that. It can be much more insidious, much more subtle. It doesn't have to be a gun in the face of a CNN journalist. It can be the threat of a lawsuit towards CNN as an entity that therefore makes that journalist just a little bit scared to say something, or even they second think themselves. You don't want that to happen in America. The idea that you second think whether what you're about to say is going to get you targeted by the current administration. That should not be the case. And that's what Scott Pelley was saying. Let's read a little bit of this article to see how MAGA reacted. So while Pelley didn't mention Trump by name, his comments appeared to reference troubling shifts since Trump returned to the White House, mainly the president's feud with Harvard University. Very clearly, he was talking about that. CBS News is also locked in its own battle with Trump, also 60 Minutes, and Disney has told multiple entities to just not talk about Trump in a certain way so that they win the lawsuit. Quote, to move forward, we debate, not demonize. We discuss, not destroy. Journalism is under attack. Western Lensman on X said, this is self-important, sermonizing, propaganda, and it's what passes for a legacy media, quote-unquote, journalist. They're so mad. Curtis Hawk said, pompous CBS journalist Scott Pelley closed his announcement address at Wake Forest by telling graduates they are fierce defenders of democracy. He's saying this like it's a bad thing, but that's just, it's better than whatever Trump said. Trump literally went on stage to West Point and talked about himself. He talked about the former president more than he talked about the future of the students, and did this all in a long, rambly tone. So just to zoom out, let's continue fighting. Let's continue spreading our word. That is how we win. When we live in America and democracy, you don't need any violent means. We can do this through peacefully protesting, through debate, through all of these channels that are at our disposal without demonizing, exactly as Scott Pelley said. We don't need to demonize. We don't need to destroy people. We don't need to resort to violence. What we can do is we can spread our ideas and do it in a way that is more efficient, more concise, and stronger than Republicans. Yes, we lost, but we build back better, we will build back better, and we will win. I'm going to leave it at that. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you subscribe. I'll see you all in the next video, and peace out.